Hello, hello! Pizza Packs here, and we're back with Throwback Thursday, episode number Lucky 13. So, today we have something really special. It is the last of the 4th edition gift boxes that we need to open. I've opened one of each kind. So, this is the European variant. So, we've opened the US/Canada version, the Japanese version, and the Rivals set, which had a couple of other releases. This is the European 2-player introductory set gift box version. We've already opened the regular version of this, and this one's actually a misprint, so your eyes are not playing tricks on you. The back is upside down. So I want to capture that before I open this, because that there's no way to tell afterwards. Also, the print run on this was shifted, I don't know, half a centimeter maybe down. But this is still the original cellophane wrap. There used to be a price code right here, or a price sticker here. And another neat thing that I don't know if it's going to show up on camera or not, but this had at one point a Yu-Gi-Oh product stacked on top of it, and the Konami the Konami print from that actually transferred onto this, which is kind of funny. But without further ado, let's get this thing open. Oh, you can see it a little better now. Yeah, it had a Yu-Gi-Oh product sitting on top of it for quite some time. It's kind of neat. Right. And another neat feature of these is they came with Homelands packs instead of 4th edition packs. So it's a neat thing. You can see them here. So contents: 2 60-card pre-constructed decks ready to play, 2 guides containing step-by-step instructions, embroidered cloth bag containing 30 glass beads, 2 Homelands boosters, and a Magic the Gathering rulebook. And this is from all the way back in 1996. You can see the product code and the ISBN number there. So yep. Well, it's fully packed upside down. Because this tray actually is meant to be the other way. So we've got Zach's guide, walks through. This is exactly the same as the other 4th edition version. I will put a link to that video up here somewhere if I can. If not, I will put it in the description. So it'll be in the doobly-doo, I guess. Kaza's guide. Nice. And these have stainless steel staples. Neat. So they transitioned, I'm guessing they transitioned to the stainless steel ones. Yeah, no rust. And still shiny. And have stainless steel grains, so it's like stainless steel staples. And this bag is embroidered versus stamped like the other ones. I've got 2 packs of Homelands. Homelands, of course, being lauded as one of the worst sets of all time. And also, they came with 8 cards per pack instead of 15. So even at the time, you were getting half the value from the American gift boxes, which is kind of funny. or the Japanese ones for that matter, which both came with 4th edition packs. We've got this great rule book. So what's funny is even all the way back in 4th edition, there's a distinction between tokens and counters. Which is something that I mix up saying all the time and have forever. Let's see. Ah, the old phase structure. Process all effects that occur at the beginning of the phase, the bulk of the phase, which can have any number of batches, back when we had the batch instead of the stack. Process all effects that occur at the end of the phase, check for mana burn, check life totals. It also used to be that you didn't die till the end of the phase, which that led to all kinds of wacky situations. Especially since it also went in active player order. So if it would, the check for the active player would go on the stack, or not on the stack, would go in the batch cycle to be checked, and then the one for the inactive player. So you could actually set it up in a few ways. Not always, but in a few ways where your opponent and you would both be below 0 life, and your opponent would die first. There were a few wonky ways to do it, but you could. Let's see, we've got another nice bag. Of course, this one is tied off as well. This one is embroidered instead of stamped, which is very nice. You should have dark blue and light blue beads. I can see what the tag says, actually. 1996, 100% polyester, made in China. Ooh! We have bigger beads than the other 4th edition ones. And these are actually in fantastic shape. This side is a little broken. These are slightly larger than an M&M. Which is a unit of measure apparently, but these are absolutely fantastic condition. Alright. And since we've already seen these decks in one of the other versions, I'm going to open the Homelands boosters first, so those of you that came to see this don't have to jump around as much. Let's get into this. Yes. Oh, that just kind of shattered. Yep. Good old Homelands. We used to be able to get these boxes for super cheap. I remember at one point I could buy a box of Homelands for 20 bucks. Like around Urza Saga, you could buy Homelands and Fallen Empires for about 20 bucks. And we got some miscut ones too. We have Aeson Crusader, an interesting miscut. Sierra Aviary, that's a cool one. Nice world enchant. Or enchant world, rather. Singear Bats. Reef Pirates. One of the now defunct ships. They're all pirates now. Ambush Party. Carapace. Labyrinth Minotaur. Mesa Falcon. Nice. I believe our rare was the Sierra Bestiary. Right. See if we can open this one a little cleaner. There we go. Yeah, still Tor on the front. These just become so thin. Or, they were so thin to begin with, but they become super brittle. Plus can keep. Nice. Grandmother Sengir. Pretty sure that's our foil. Or not our foil. Pretty sure that's our rare. Anhaba Shaman. Shrink. Cemetery Gate. Renewal. Huh. Sengir Bats. And another Reef Pirates. None of the big hits in the set, but, you know. Granted, I think the hits are like Baron Sengir, Merchant Scroll, and Didgeridoo? I think Didgeridoo is the big one. Right. Got those lovely things taken care of. Let's take a look at the decks. Yeah. Alright, first we have the Abzan Zax deck. That awesome Mirage advertisement on the back. Let's see if we can find... I'm supposed to open this thing. See the little pull cord. I don't see a cutout for it. It should be right around here somewhere, because I see the seam. It's so frustrating for someone with short fingernails. Come on. There we go. If it's not cut, we'll make our own cut. There we go. Alright. So we've got our Mirage Ad. That really cool thing on the back. Duelist Convocation International. Get ranked. So it's right after DCI was formed. And they did the Pro Tour. The turn sequence. My, how things have changed. It's the same but different. Alright. Let's get to the actual cards. We have Plains, Art by Jesper Myfors. Reverse Damage, Damian Willick. Which I forgot the name of this in the Japanese video, but it's fine. Forest, Christopher Rush. Swamp, Dan Fraser. Glasses of Urza, Douglas Schuler. I'm looking for the playmat of this. Swamp, Dan Fraser. Mesa Pegasus, Melissa Benson. Plains, Jesper Myfors. Weakness, Douglas Schuler. Swamp, Dan Fraser. War Mammoth, Jeff A. Minguez. Forest, Christopher Rush. Winter Blast, Kaya Foglio. Swamp, Dan Fraser. Rod of Ruin, Christopher Rush. Love that art. Dark Ritual, Sarah Everingham. Still my favorite art for Dark Ritual. Mercadian Masks. What's between that and Mercadian Masks? There's no real contest with the others. We have Elvish Archers, Anson Maddox. That absolute beefcake. We have Swamp, Dan Frazier. Circle Protection Black, Jesper Myfors. Also, oddly enough, the first digital art ever used in Magic, and not in Alpha. It's one of 2 cards that were missing in Alpha. War Mammoth, Jeff Mingus. Plains, Jesper Myfors. Pretty sure COP Black is missing from Alpha. I know Volcanic Island is. I'm pretty sure it's Volcanic Island and COP Black are both missing. Miscut Mesa Pegasus, Melissa Benson. Weakness, Douglas Schuler. Circle of Protection Red, Mark Tedden. Still my favorite art. Warp Artifact, Amy Weber. Wall of Bone, Ensign Maddox. Whirling Dervish, Susan Van Camp. Absolute classic. Plains, Jesper Myfors. Forest, Christopher Rush. Forest. Christopher Rush. The little dude hanging out in the tree. Zach's deck. If you want to play the first game, guided game over, you just need to put the cards back in order. And then it tells you the order. Moving to the next guided game. Okay. Goes over that. And then you've actually got a... Oh! If you want to play the first guided game over, do that. Moving on to the next guided game. Oh, it just says the same thing with a different border. That's cool. Forest, Christopher Rush. Also, neat thing about these are 4th edition, but instead of having 1995 for the copyright date, it has 1996. So if you run across stuff that appears to be 4th edition, looks like 4th edition, just a little odd, and has a copyright date of 1996, they're from these gift boxes and introductory sets. The European ones have 1996. The Japanese ones also have 1996, but they're Japanese white border, so pretty easy to figure out. Scrib Sprites, Amy Weber. The Rivals 2-player box set for North America also has 1996 as the copyright date. So just something to keep in mind if you're ever sorting through older stuff like this. Swamp, Dan Frazier. Bogamp, Ron Spencer. Alabaster Potion, Harold McNeil. Plains, Jesper Myfors. Healing Salve, Dan Frazier. There are a few differences in the fonts that were used in the 96 4th edition printings. Terror, Ron Spencer. And there's no difference in value, really. Swamp, Dan Frazier. Sometimes these are worth a little bit more than regular 4th edition, but not much. Bogamp, Ron Spencer. Grizzly Bears, Jeff Mingus. Forest, Christopher Rush. Dirkwood Boars, Mike Kimball. I don't know why that seems wrong. Yeah, Mike Kimball. Pearled Unicorn, Cornelius Brundy. Plains, Jesper Myfors. Healing Salve, Dan Frazier. Swamp, Dan Frazier. Raised Dead, Jeff Mingus. Bogwraith, Jeff Mingus. An absolutely iconic art. Forest, Christopher Rush. Untamed Wilds, Nene Thomas. I wonder if Nene Thomas is related to... Nope, that's dumb. I had a weird thought in my head about if they were related to another artist and the other artist doesn't even have the same last name. That wouldn't make any sense. Alabaster Potion, Harold McNeil. Elven Riders, Melissa Benson. Terror, Ron Spencer. Pearled Unicorn, Cornelius Brundy. Or Broody. Rudy, not Brundy. Broody. Scrib Sprites, Amy Weber. Swamp, Dan Frazier. Plains, Jesper Myfors. Another Plains by Jesper Myfors. Forest by Christopher Rush. And the Zach's deck marker card. Now we'll put these back. I love that art so much. We get a second run at it. Love the art on Elvish Archers and Dark Ritual. Winter Blast is just another classic art. I would love a playmat of the full art of that. I am a sucker for old school playmats. I've got a whole bunch of them. And I'm in the market for a whole bunch more eventually. Currently having to dial back expenses a little bit. But we'll be back to the regularly scheduled ridiculousness before too much longer. Speaking of which, probably not the best place to announce it, but I'm not going to be doing a huge order for foundations. It's just I don't know. Something just feels like it's not a great idea at the moment. I could be completely wrong and eat those words, but I'll get whatever, one or two of whatever decks they put out, and then maybe a box or two. I'm not super big on it. I mean, it is going to be in standard for 5 years, but still. I've been pulling back a little bit on standard just because I haven't had enough time with my spouse being in and out of the hospital the last couple of months with all the surgeries. So use what to use. But on another good note, they start back at work tomorrow. They really like what they do, and they're excited to get back to work because they've been going a little stir crazy being in the house. Well, being between the house and the hospital. They're kind of a hermit, much like myself. That got worse with being sick. Alright, so we've got Kaza's deck, which is Grixis. Man, it's having a moment. Have a nice ad for 4th edition. See the attack sequence, which is covered differently than the turn order. Would have been neat to have it on both sides of that. Alright, now for the actual deck. We have Mountain, Douglas Schuler, Mons Goblin Raiders, Jeff A. Minguez, Island, Mark Poole. Love that island. It's not my 100% favorite, but still a great island. Power Sync, Richard Thomas, Swamp, Dan Frazier, Sorceress Queen, Kaya Foglio. I believe it's one of the rares. Island, Mark Poole. This is my favorite island. Favorite island of all time. Phantom Monster, Jesper Myfords. Mirforce. Jesper Mirforce. I have been saying his name incorrectly for the last 31 years. I've never noticed the R. I'm sorry, Jesper. My apologies. Orcish Oriflame, Dan Frazier, Detonate, Randy Asplund Faith, good old Detonate, Mountain, Douglas Schuler, Swamp, Dan Frazier, Vampire Bats, Anson Maddox, Mountain, Douglas Schuler, Energy Flux, Kaya Foglio, Feedback, Quentin Hoover, I don't know why, this one always reminded me of the Star Trek animated series. I've never quite been able to put my finger on it, it just does. Battering Ram, Jeff A. Minguez. Island, Mark Poole. Oh. Mountain, Douglas Schuler. Fireball, Mark Tedden. Good old Fireball. Mountain, Douglas Schuler. Vampire Bats, Anson Maddox. Island, Mark Poole. Power Sync, Richard Thomas. Jam Day Tome, Mark Tedden. Good old book. Orcish Artillery, Anson Maddox. Clockwork Beast. Clockwork Beast. Let's see. Drew Tucker. Cursed Land, Jesper Mirfors. Swamp, Dan Frazier. Swamp, Dan Frazier. Causes deck. Printed the same on both sides, just with a different border. Island, Mark Poole. Merc Dwellers, Drew Tucker. Swamp, Dan Frazier. Scathed Zombies, Jesper Mirfors. Jesper Mirfors. That is going to be so hard for me to change. But I'm going to try my very best. Hill Giant, Dan Frazier. Mountain, Douglas Schuler. Disintegrate, Anson Maddox. Zephyr Falcon, Heather Hudson. Island, Mark Poole. Unsummon, Douglas Schuler. Scathed Zombies, Jesper Mirfors. Swamp, Dan Frazier. Terror, Ron Spencer. Mom's Goblin Raiders, Jeff A. Mingus. Mountain, Douglas Schuler. Pyrotechnics, Anson Maddox. Unsummon, Douglas Schuler. Zephyr Falcon, Heather Hudson. Disintegrate, Anson Maddox. Lost Souls, Randy Asplund Faith. Twiddle, Rob Alexander. Still my favorite version of Twiddle. Island, Mark Poole. Mountain, Douglas Schuler. Merc Dwellers, Drew Tucker. I love that art. Iron Claw Orcs, Anson Maddox. Merfolk with Pearl Trident, Jeff A. Minguez. Swamp, Dan Frazier. Another Dan Frazier Swamp. Douglas Schuler Mountain. Mark Poole Island. And Causes deck. Very nice. Alright. I get to see them again in reverse. I love 4th edition. It was such a good base set. Such a good time, too. But time marches on. Hopefully Foundation will be a good throwback to 4th edition or earlier times in base sets. It's one of the core parts of Magic, and one of those things that designers need to stop, like the set designers need to stop trying to get rid of, because it never works to get rid of it, because it is so integral to the design of how sets interact with one another. Especially for any kind of standard format. Like if you want standard to be healthy, you have to have core sets. You just have to. Because there are core cards that have to be legal. Alright. Got everything back in here. Ooh, close it up. And it will always be upside down. That's funny. Alright. Well, thank you for joining me on this adventure with the European Introductory 2-player set gift box for 4th edition. As always, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff for the algorithm. I really appreciate it, and it really helps us out. We are pushing to get to 1,000 subscribers, and there's going to be some awesome giveaways once we hit that. So if you're not subscribed, please consider it. And as always, until next time, stay awesome. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.